platform. When we have already, this is the second session, guys. Okay, so when we have already cloud, when we have already on-prem, why we need to go for cloud platform? It's a continuation of a demo session. Okay, it's a continuation of demo session. And when you have an on-prem already, why we need to go for cloud? We discussed about more in detail. And Microsoft is branding their services in two different brands. One is Azure and Office 365. We are falling under Azure platform. And if you wanted to take the service from the cloud platform, make sure we need to have an account. Once you have it, then you can take a service from the cloud platform. The process of taking cloud service from the cloud platform, that we can call it as a cloud computing. So how we can take the services from the cloud, we are going to see. And when it comes to our side, like when we are going to work as a ETL developers, when you have already existed SSIS project, we can migrate to cloud project. And if you have an Informatica project, we can migrate to cloud. And even if you have a Hadoop project, we can migrate to cloud projects. So this all we just discussed more in detail in the last session. And these services are going to be covered as part of this throughout the training. And I already told you the prerequisites of Azure data engineering is SQL basics are required and Python basics are required. So you don't worry how we can understand SQL basics or Python basics. I'll take you through with the content. Okay, so throughout the course, I'm going to take you through this. So continuation to yesterday's session, I'm going to talk about if I decided to go with the cloud, we have seen if I decided to go with the cloud, then how exactly we can take the services from there. What are the different types of the clouds in the market that I just wanted to give some brief idea. Let's say I have a cloud platform. This cloud platform is going to have three different types of cloud platforms or three different types of deployment models. Three types of deployment models I'm going to have. One is public cloud. And second is private cloud. Third is hybrid cloud. So three different types of cloud available in the market. And we are going to say public cloud. Okay, just for understanding, I'm just taking you through this. And no one will ask you what are the different types of public deployment models are there. No one will ask you in the interview. But we need to understand how exactly this private cloud is going to be there and how exactly this public cloud is going to work. So let me talk about first private cloud, and then I'll go to the public cloud. Before this cloud, we discussed about on-prem. How exactly on-prem is going to be there. So if it is on-prem, you have to do the initial investment. If you're not having enough budget to start the business, then we can go to the cloud platform. Instead of having your on-prem, you can take the services from the private cloud also. Let's say, for example, you're taking services from the TCS or Wipro or any service-based company. They will be having their own data centers also. So what they're going to give is, they will give the services to you and you can utilize the services from them, but these people will give the services to you only. That means they will give the services to the organizations. So they don't give the services for every individual. If you want to take a service from, if you want to take service for individual, then private cloud is not going to be help, and public cloud is going to help us. And everyone can take the service from here. You can take the service, I can take the service, and companies also can take the services from here. And if you want to take any service from the private cloud, you need to depend on the third party. That means you need to depend from TCS if you are taking from TCS. And when it goes to here, we don't require to depend on the cloud vendor. Even if it is a Azure or even if it is a AWS, you can take the service, whatever the service you wanted to take it. So that kind of feasibilities we are going to have when you go for the public cloud, and we don't have a feasibilities to the private cloud. This is specific to the organizations, and this is for everyone. So those points, I just gave some points here. So when you go for private cloud, services are accessible within the organization. They're not going to be available for others. So it belongs to a specific organization, and this are all going to be managed by third party. So that means, as I said, if it is TCS will handle it. And when you go for the private cloud, if it is specific to the organization, then you will be having high security and data privacy. But the disadvantages are here is the cost is high, and private cloud is accessible within the organization. You cannot access out of the organization. So that means you are having limited operations. The area of the operations are very limited. And limited scalability, that means if you wanted to increase the compute and if you want to decrease the compute, if it is not required, then we have a limited scalability. You have to depend on others, and you have to plan prior your business. Prior your business, you need to plan to increase or decrease the compute. So there are a lot of disadvantages are there here. The main thing is the cost, and you cannot access from anywhere, and limited scalability. And if the business requirement demands, then you can go for the private cloud. But there are many vendors or many organizations are moving towards to the cloud platform because to reduce the cost. So when you go to the public cloud, you're going to have more features. Okay, so it is going to be open for everyone. It is open to all. It is open to all to store the data and to access the data. So you can store the data as well as you can access the data from the storage. So everyone, an individual also can take the service from the public cloud. And public cloud supports pay as you go model, whereas private cloud is not going to support this pay as you go. So these all services are going to be managed by cloud vendors. We don't require to depend on them. And if you need any service, you can take the service from them. So these are all the advantages. And we are going to see public cloud someday. I mean to say, Azure is a public cloud. AWS is a public cloud. GCP is a public cloud. So those people provides pay as you go model. When you have a pay as you go model, then the price is going to be very less. So it is maintained by a cloud service provider, location independent, because its services are delivered through the internet. So whatever the location it is, you can take service from them and you can access from anywhere. And high scalability. I'll come across this point practically for one of the project. I faced this kind of situation in order to increase the compute when the data storage is increased, and we have to bring them into the down for some reason to reduce the cost. We have a budget friendly pricing tier in order to reduce the cost. So how exactly I increase the compute and decrease the compute, I'll talk about it, but I'm going to talk about the database. So we have a more flexibility. We don't depend on others to increase the compute. If you have a privileges to increase or decrease, then you can do it. And it is cost effective, and they provide pay as you go model in order to reduce the cost. So whatever you use, pay for that only. So that pricing model we are having in the public clouds. So these are all the public clouds we are having. Microsoft Azure, Amazon Web Services, GCP. These three are the trending cloud platforms in the market. And we are going to see Microsoft Azure. Now, when you go for Microsoft Azure, if you decided to take the services from the Microsoft Azure or even from anyone, we have a different types of services. We have a different types of services. So Microsoft Azure is having many services, and when you go for the portal, you can find there are many services. Let me open the portal first. I'll come across this details and all. Here my intention is how exactly they categorize the services. If you go to the all services, we have a many services here. When you have a many services, what they have done is they categorize the services. Depends on your requirement, you can take the services. There are three different types of services. SaaS services, software as a services we are having. PaaS services, platform as a service. IaaS services, infrastructure as a services. We have three different types of services from the Microsoft cloud platform. One is SaaS services, software as a services, platform as a services, and infrastructure as a service. As we are going to work as a data engineer, we are going to fall under this particular area. And as a developer, you are not going to be part of this. You may be part of this. If you are Hadoop developer or any other developers you are working, then you can fall under this. But as an Azure data engineer, we are going to fall under the platform as a service. What are the services that I listed here? All the services except Microsoft Fabric. First 7 services are going to fall under the platform as a service. So when you go for software as a service and how exactly it is going to be there, I'll just give a brief idea, but we are not going to be part of this. This is specifically designed for, these services are designed for the customers, for the users. You can see, if you see software as a service, if it is an on-prem, I told you everything that you have to take care from your side. So storage you have to take care, servers you have to take care, virtualizations, installation of operating systems, installation of softwares, everything that you need to take care if it is a on-prem. So that is what I talked about it in the last session. So instead of having your own premises, you can go for the cloud platform to reduce the cost. And when you go to the cloud platform, we have a varieties of the services in the market. Varieties of the services, and all the services they categorized depends on your requirement. You can go and use it. So when you see this software as a service, everything will be managed by cloud vendors. When it comes to here, Microsoft will manage all this software as a services. So we don't require to install, we don't require to have operating system, we don't require to upgrade. Everything will be taken care by Microsoft itself. So that means that is a platform as a software as a service. Example for software as a service is Gmail. We don't need to install it. Outlook, that means Web Outlook, SharePoint services, Microsoft Power BI service. So we don't require to install anything. All the services are going to be taken care by cloud vendors only. Okay, so you can just go through these points. You can easily understand. We don't require to know about more in detail because we are not going to be part of it. So these services will be specifically designed for the users, and they're all going to be available on demand, and softwares will be upgraded automatically. So because we don't need to install this Gmail, example I'm just giving. So when you understand this, then you can understand this are all built for the users, not for the developers. So SaaS services reduces the cost of hardware and software maintenance because we don't have a hardware from our side and we are not going to have any software from our side. We are going to utilize the services. So this is about software as a service. And this is important for us. Platform as a service. I don't need your software. I need your platform. I wanted to provide a solution from my side. Then we are going to take the platform from the cloud vendors. So platform as a service we are going to take, and this is specifically designed for the developers. And this PaaS is going to provide a platform and environment to allow the developers to build the applications and services over the internet. So your ADF, we are going to learn, right? This ADF is a platform as a service. They will provide the platform, and by using this platform, we are going to provide the solution for us, for our big data processing. And offers development and deployment tools required to the develop applications. So we can do the development and we can do the deployment directly with the platform as a services. So PaaS services are hosted in the cloud, accessed by users via web browsers. If you have a browser, then you can access it. So we are going to see most of the points practically you can feel, and we don't require to have infrastructure. We don't have any control on the infrastructure because when you go for the platform as a service, we don't care about what operating system they're using. We don't care about what kind of infrastructure they're using. We are just going to take the platform and we are going to use it. So we don't have any control on the infrastructure. No operating system is required to access this PaaS services. If you see this diagram, you can understand platform as a service here. This all will be taken care by Microsoft itself, and only are taking care about applications and data. How we can set up that application and how we can use that application, that we are going to see as part of platform as a service. We don't have any control on the operating system. We don't have any control on the storage or infrastructure, I can say. So that is about platform as a service. So advantages is cost efficiency. No need to purchase expensive servers. We don't require to buy any servers. We don't require to buy softwares. We don't require to buy storages. You can use the services directly. And we can scale up or we can scale down at any point of time if it is a PaaS services. So that we are going to come across one of the place that I'm going to take you through how we can scale up and down your resources. And softwares will be managed by the providers. If you go for ADF or if you go for Azure SQL Server, the software's upgradation will be taken care by themselves. We are not going to be handled from our side. And easy deployment of the service. So you don't feel difficulties when you deploy from one environment to another environment if you go for the PaaS services. Whereas if you go for on-prem, it is very difficult to do deployment. Okay, so we are going to be part of platform as a service. I'll give when we can go for the platform as a service, little more in detail. And then we have a infrastructure as a service. Before going to the infrastructure as a service, I wanted to give some details here. When we can go for platform as a service. Let's say, for example, I have a project. I have a project called SSIS project. It was already existed project. I wanted to migrate my SSIS project into. I'll take the questions at the end of the session, guys. I wanted to convert into ADF project, Azure Data Factory project. So if you want to convert this, if you want to migrate means, it's not going to be happen directly. It's not going to be happen directly. You have to redesign it. I have already some project in my environment in the on-prem. Just imagine this is on-prem project. Okay, so I wanted to migrate it. Let's say on-prem. If I wanted to migrate means, it's not like directly by doing some clicks, we are not going to migrate it. We have to redesign it. Need to redesign. How much you have to we need to redesign? We have to redesign. Let's say, for example, I have 100 packages here. Just imagine 100 packages are there. So what is packages? So just ignore whatever it is. 100 tasks are there otherwise. 100 tasks are there and you need to redesign this, but you redesigned $90 tasks and still 10 are pending. I have a SSIS project with 100 tasks. If I wanted to decommission my on-prem to the cloud, ADF means it is a cloud. If you want to go to here, you have to redesign all the 100 tasks and then you can decommission your on-prem. And all the stuff will be available in the cloud itself. But unfortunately or fortunately, if you redesign completely, that is fine. If at all, if you redesign up to 90 tasks or some percentage of the tasks, and still there are 10 are pending. If these 10 are completed, then only you can decommission this SSIS project. Then only you can decommission this so that you can reduce the cost. But you're having, let me say this is a cloud. Still you're having 10. But still you can decommission this. Only for SSIS project. Rest of the pending, I'm just going to change the statement. Rest of the pending tasks can be lift and shift. So you can lift and shift rest of the packages directly to the cloud itself. So once you lift and shift the rest of them, you can decommission this platform so that we can reduce the cost. So this feature is available for only ADF. This is available for only SSIS project. SSIS is from Microsoft SQL Server Integration Services. It's a ETL project. Okay. So if you have this kind of situation, then you can decommission and you can go to the cloud platform by using Azure Data Factory. So your Azure Data Factory is what? Platform as a service. You can go to the platform as a service only. And I have one more situation I'm going to take. The another situation is I have an Informatica project. I have an Informatica project. Same 100 tasks are available here. But 100% is you have to redesign. % need to redesign. So then only you can decommission your on-prem. Otherwise you cannot do it. So we don't have a feasibility here. We have the tasks, we cannot move to cloud directly because we don't have a feasibility. Here we have a feasibility How exactly that is going to be possible? I'm going to talk when I go and talk about Azure Data Factory. So what reason they're providing or what feature they're providing to run the task as it is in the cloud platform, and why they're not providing for the other vendors. I mean to say other softwares or other tools. So Informatica is not from Microsoft. So they provided feasibility for only for their service only. And if I have Hadoop project, if I have Hadoop project, but still you have to do 100% redesign to go to the cloud. So then only you can decommission it. So when you can decommission this platform is only if it is 100% redesigned. And here also the same thing. If it is 100% redesigned, then you can go for the ADF. I mean to say you can decommission this platform. But here, even if it is completed 80% or 90%, you can decommission. Rest of the percentage activities you can move to the directly to the cloud platform, and slowly you can decommission. I mean to say you can slowly redesign the rest of the activities also to reduce the cost. All these are PaaS services only. ADF only we are going to use in all the places. So we can say it is PaaS service, platform as a service. We are going to get a platform and we are going to use that. And this is one type of approach. There is one more type of approach I'm having. Let's say I don't want to redesign it. I wanted to lift and shift without changes. I wanted to lift and shift without changes. Then 100% is what you have to do is you have to go for IaaS, infrastructure as a service. This is going to be platform as a service. Okay, so I'm just going to say here PaaS. Platform as a service. We don't require to have a operating system. We don't require to have anything. We are going to redesign the solution. When you wanted to redesign the solution, then you can go for the PaaS. But if you wanted to lift and shift your solution, then you can go for IaaS, infrastructure as a service. So saying to the cloud, I don't need your softwares. I don't need your platform. I need your only infrastructure. So I'll take only your infrastructure and I'll have my own softwares. So if you have an Informatica here, then you are going to have an Informatica only here. So you're going to do as this lift and shift. This entire thing we are going to say here is it's not going to be on-prem. It is going to be IaaS, infrastructure as a service. As it is going to get. We don't require to do any changes. And even if you have this also here, if you wanted to lift and shift without doing any changes, this is going to be Hadoop. So there you are going to take an infrastructure. Instead of having your own infrastructure, you are taking infrastructure from someone else. So IaaS is also is a cloud. That's what I told you. Cloud platform, different types of services we are having in the public cloud. So we have a PaaS services. IaaS services. Okay, so these services falling under Office 365 for Microsoft. So here these three are coming under PaaS services. We can go for redesigning, completely redesigning. There are many projects we are redesigning completely, and there are few projects they may go for as it is, lift and shift without doing any changes. So in that case, they can have the same environment here. You can have a full control if you go for IaaS. Infrastructure control, you are going to have it. So you can select what operating system you need, or you can select what softwares you need. If you need Informatica, you can set up Informatica here. If you need Hadoop, then you can set up Hadoop in the cloud platform. But these are all IaaS. The cost will be more when you compare with the PaaS services. Okay, so as I said, this IaaS also is falling under cloud platform only. IaaS also is falling under cloud platform. Now, I wanted to take the services. You have seen the types of the services, the benefits. I'll come to this point. Now, first, if I wanted to redesign my solution, this is the place where we are going to work as a data engineers. We are not going to be falling under IaaS platform. So if I wanted to provide a solution for my project by redesigning, then you need to know how we can access the cloud. I wanted to take the services from the cloud. Okay, so let's say, for example, I required to take the Azure Data Factory. ADF is required to provide the solution for your existing project. ADB is required. Azure Databricks, we are going to see practically all of them. I required Azure Data Lake Storage Gen 2, ADLS, Data Lakes, and I need to take database also. Let's say DB for time being. So like this, I wanted to take the services. This is Microsoft Azure. I wanted to take the services from here. If you want to take the services to redesign your solution, then you need to connect to this. How we can connect to this particular area is by using the portal we are going to connect it. www.portal.azure.com. By using this, address, we can connect to the portal to take the services. So in order to connect it, what we are going to do is, we are going to set here as a developer or as a user. So since we are going to work as a developer, I'm just going to say developer. Everyone can access, administrators can access. So I wanted to take the service from here. So developer means you need to have an account. Account is required. Or we can say tenant. So you need to be a tenant in the Microsoft Azure. Then only you can take the service. So the process of taking services from here, as I said, we are going to call this as a cloud computing. So in order to take the service, you need to have one browser and account is required. If you have that, then you can start taking the service. So in real time, we are not going to create a Azure Data Factory. We are not going to create a Azure Databricks. We are not going to create any service in real time. So everything will be created by administrators, Azure administrators, and we are going to utilize the services. But when it comes to here, we have to set up. We have to practice, right? In order to practice it, you have to know how we can set up Azure Data Factory, how we can set up Azure Databricks, or how we can set up Azure SQL Server databases. So whatever the services that we required to work as a data engineer, we need to set up, we need to know how we can set up. So that is what the importance here. And even if you are working as a developer, you have to do you have to practice some administration activities also. But this is not falling under administration, guys. We are going to be completed developers. Now, if I wanted to take this, then you need to have an account. How we can create an account? That is the point. How we can create an account? To create an account, in Azure, we required Microsoft account. We require Microsoft account, and you can convert your Gmail account also as a Microsoft account. Let's say, for example, Gmail, convert it to Microsoft account. Then you can create an account for the Azure, or you can use Outlook account. Outlook, it is directly Microsoft account. So we don't require to convert it. And Hotmail also can use. This is also is Microsoft account only. So we don't require to convert into Microsoft because they are directly Microsoft account. So once you have a Outlook account, then you can directly go inside the portal. So how we can create a Outlook account? I'm just showing creating Outlook account. So to create an Outlook account, we need to use www.outlook.live.com. You have to use this URL in order to create an Outlook account. I recommend you to create an Outlook account. Okay, so once you create it, then how we can do it, I'm just going to show you here. Let me go for incognito window. I'm just taking other outlook.live.com. Outlook.live.com, you just hit on enter. Then it will come to this particular area. So everyone can create an account, but wait for creating a subscription. I'll tell you when we can add a subscription to the Azure portal. But you can create an Outlook account, you can make it ready. Let's go for create free account. You need to create a free account. I'm just taking some number, AJ Bhaskar 02, outlook.com. Or you can take hotmail.com. Anything is fine. I'm just taking outlook.com. You can provide and say hit on next. So it's available. This account is available. So I'm just going to provide the password here. I'm just providing some password. Let's say next. And you can provide the name. So I'm just providing first name and last name. Let's say next. Just provide some date here. Let's say next. Let's again next. So you have to match this image here. You need to rotate. I hope this is correct. Let's go for next, submit. And again, we need to do it. Yeah, this is perfect. Let's submit it. One more item. This is correct. Let's submit it. So once this is completed, your Outlook account will be created. Let's say yes. Now you have your Outlook account. Once you have a Outlook account, and I can go to the portal. Let me come back to here first. Once you have a portal, I mean to say once you have an Outlook account, once you have Outlook account, then you can log into the portal. Once you have a Outlook account, you can directly log into the portal. We don't require to have an account. The same account I can use Azure account. So let's say by logging to this portal, let's add one more tab. Portal.azure.com. Portal.azure.com. Let's hit enter. You can enter the whatever the email ID you're having, you can enter it. I'm just adding at outlook.com. Let's say next. It will go inside the portal directly. Now you're there inside the portal. Let's close this. Just close this one also. The same account I'm using to log into the portal. So when I log into the portal, I don't have any subscription here. When you create an account or if you wanted to take any service from here, to take the services, you need to have a subscription. To take services from Azure, we required subscription. So that means if I wanted to take the ADF for practicing, I need to have a subscription. If I wanted to take a ADLS to store the data, I need to have a subscription. Because subscription only is going to decide how much bill you are going to get. One is paid subscription. Let me say free trial subscription. Or paid subscription. To create a subscription, make sure to have credit card or debit card. So few banks, debit cards also getting allowed. You can try if you are not having credit card, you can try with the debit card also. If it is allowing, that is fine. So they don't charge until unless you convert into paid subscription. So by using this, you can get a free trial subscription that will be for 1 month. 1 month will be available this. So later 1 month, if you convert your free trial subscription to paid subscription, then only they are going to deduct the amount. Then only they are going to generate the bill for you. Otherwise, you are not going to be charged. Now, if you go to this portal here, start with an Azure free trial. So get 1200 free credit towards to this products and services. Okay, so most of the services, the paid services you can use only for 1 month. They have given 12 months, but they are not much more useful for us. Only 1 month we are going to have it. When I hit on start, then you can start free first. Do not go for pay as you go. If your credit card is not used at least one time, if it is already used one time, then you cannot go for free account. Okay, so you can go for start free. So I'll give some details here. You can try from your side. to create a subscription, but do not create a subscription today or tomorrow. I'll tell you when I'm going to start practicing. When we do some practice, then you can go for that. Otherwise, it is not required to create at this point of time. So few details already taken because we are using Outlook account, right? Whatever the details we provided for our Outlook account, the details has been taken. You can enter the phone number here, verify your phone number, and once it is verified, then provide company name. You can provide any name. And PAN, it's an optional. You don't require to provide optional items. Address line 1, you can provide any address. Okay. And city, you can provide. State, you can provide. Postal code. You can feel how we can provide all these details. I don't need to show all of them. And just agree the check boxes. And once you hit on next, then it will go to the identification of your card. So your credit card or debit card need to be identified. Okay, you have to provide correct details only. Okay, so incorrect details are not going to be verified. So that has to be verified by Microsoft with your bank credit card or debit card. Once it is verified, then you can sign up. So your sign up will be completed. You can have a free trial subscription. Otherwise, you're not going to get a free trial subscription. So if anyone is facing any issue, let me know. I'll help you on it. But you can easily do it. It's not much difficult. So this is about how we can create an account. And in my case, I'm already having paid subscription. If you go here, let's go to the subscription. I'll tell you. This is my paid subscription. Just one day ago started a new billing. Every month you are going to get the bill. And if it is a paid subscription, if you are using 2 to 3 hours continuously, max to max, you will get 3,000. If you use perfectly, max 2 to 3,000 you are going to get. That is more enough. Okay, so you can practice even. If your free trial is completed, you can use your same subscription by making paid subscription, and you can start doing practice. So once you're fine, the bill is going to generate monthly wise. Based on month, it is going to be generated. Based on month, you're going to get the bill is going to be generated. I have a bills here, invoices. Let's go to the subscription. So here I have in some months I have, this is a due, 2000, last month bill is, I have to pay. Okay, anyway. So we are going to get the bill like this per month wise. Okay, so 212 to 311. Up to 311, the last month bill is 2049. I got it. So some months there will be less cost, and some months there will be more cost. Okay, so maybe sometimes I may forget to remove some resources. Okay, so max to max 5,000 I may get. I'm using more than 4 hours I'm using daily basis. So I'm getting like this. Depends. 3,000, max to max 3,000 you may get it. Okay, if you're using, you don't get it. I feel max to max 1,000 to 1,500 we can get it. We can finish our practice. Okay, so you don't worry about it. Even if your free trial is completed, no worries. Go with the paid subscription, but you have to follow my instructions to reduce the cost. If you keep all the services as it is, then you are going to be charged. How we can remove and how we can reset up the environment, I'll tell you, and you can do that practice. Okay, so that is I wanted to say. And if I wanted to take the services from the Microsoft Azure, how exactly the services are going to be hierarchically arranged. Okay, so I will talk about that arrangement of the services, how exactly that is arranged, and these services where we can take from the Azure, how exactly the hierarchy is there, that I'll talk in the next session. And I wanted to take you through the content